City and Guilds International Spoken ISESOL Test, Master Level, 4th of July 2009, Dimitra Papidaki. Test begins. Hello, my name is Panos Gerakis. Can you spell your surname for me, please?
Sure, it is Papidaki, P-A-P-I-D-A-K-I.
Thank you. And where are you from?
I come from the island of Crete, from a town called Hania.
Thank you. Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and your ideas, all right?
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay. The cinema. Some people only watch films on television or DVDs at home. Are they missing anything by not going to the cinema?
I believe so. I think that even though the other formats like DVD are totally legitimate, by not going to the cinema, they're missing out on the different perspective, really, that even the size of the screen can help to put the concept of the film in. Also, the cinema is also a brilliant way to watch a film in a more communal method, really.
All right, thank you. The press. Do you think the daily newspaper has a future in this technological world?
I would not think so, because of the emerging methods and formats like the internet and other electronic means, which tend to replace the conventional, traditional format of newspaper.
All right. World events, the Olympic Games. What do you feel about those huge amounts of money spent on the Olympic Games?
I have to admit that even though I am very positive on the basic concept of the Olympic Games, the money matter that surrounds the Olympic Games is very provocative for me. And I think that it defies the whole concept itself. And I would like to see some change in this area of the organization.
Right.
Of the Games, really.
Thank you. Extreme sports. Do you think that should be laws to regulate extreme sports?
My opinion would be that there's nothing wrong with the extreme sports per se. However, I am concerned about the safety of the people who take part in the extreme sports. So yes, I would say that there should be some legislation,
right,
that would help protect primarily the safety of those people who are interested in the adrenaline boost, really.
All right. Okay, thank you. Now part two. I'm going to read some situations. I want you to start or respond as necessary, okay?
Okay, thank you.
First situation. I'm your work colleague. I start, okay? Guess what? I can't believe this. Our boss has resigned as from today. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. The guy was receiving huge pressure by his bosses. He has not had a pay rise in ages. He does have a huge team to manage and tremendous responsibility. I honestly believe that he can do a lot better. I do agree with his decision.
Do you know what? At the end of the day, I didn't really like him that much. Did you like that guy?
Well, I think it is convenient for us because I do share the same opinion.
All right. Okay, thank you. Second situation. We're friends and we meet in the streets. You have heard from another friend that I have just got a really good job. You start.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, how are you doing?
I'm very well.
It's been quite a long time.
It has, but actually I think you're better than me. Congratulations about the new job.
Thank you. How did you know? Who told you?
Well, Kate told me the other day, and I'm very glad about that. I honestly think that you more than deserve it.
Great, thanks a lot, thank you.
That's fine. I think this is the natural step for you. Let me know if I can help.
Definitely, I will let you know, all right? What's up with you? I mean, how are you doing with your job?
Well, I have just had a little promotion. Not as...
Tell me about that.
I'm afraid it's not as interesting as yours, really,
okay.
but I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right, all the best to you as well, honestly.
Thank you.
Take care, I'll see you around.
See you
I'll
around.
give you a call for night out for a couple of drinks, all right?
Please do so.
Excellent, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now part 3. In this part of the test, we're going to discuss something together. I'm going to give you a task sheet with some information on it, and you have 20 seconds to think about what you want to say. All right?
Okay.
Okay. So here's a list of some factors which might be important in learning a foreign language. I have the same list. Let's discuss the importance of these elements and which others should be included. All right?
That's fine, thank you.
Have 20 seconds first. All right, Dimitra, why don't you start?
Okay. I would say that grammar is one of the most significant reasons, really,
Why is that?
elements. Why is that? Because grammar would set the basic structure of the language. So once you enrich your vocabulary, it is actually very easy to speak very correctly and very accurately the language, no matter what the situation is. It is the my as far as I am concerned, is my wizard, let's say, my guide, my basic guide.
And what's about vocabulary itself?
Vocabulary itself, obviously, it is extremely important because it does help the person who learns the language to speak more effectively, efficiently, to pass the messages more quickly as well. But I think vocabulary is a non-ending story. This is something that you enrich as you go along. Obviously, it is very important, but I would not say that it is as fundamental as the grammar.
So some people think that speaking to people is the most important element in language learning. What do you think?
I would agree that speaking does help a lot in terms of enhancing the oral communication,
Nice.
in terms of distinguishing the different accents. I do find it a very, very productive, quick way to get yourself familiar with a language. Again, it is an additional factor, I would say.
Right. Can you think of anything else which is important as an element in language learning?
As opposed to oral communication, I would also include the written part, that's for sure. I would say that if one follows the basic methods, which is the grammar, the vocabulary, the written, the oral, more or less is in a position to handle and manipulate a language efficiently enough in a relatively short space of time.
But about writing, I mean, do you think that we come across to the writing parts of language every day? I mean,
as I said, it is a brilliant way to practice yourself because, especially in writing, you have the time, as opposed to oral communication, to actually think and organize your thoughts and organize the way you want to phrase yourself or to express yourself. So I do honestly think that it is very important indeed.
Right. Thank you. Now part 4. In part 4, you're going to talk on your own for about 3 minutes. All right. Your topic is, what are the best conditions for studying? First, think about it for about 30 seconds and make some notes here if you want. So your topic again is, what are the best conditions for studying? All right?
Okay.
Okay, take your time. You've got 30 seconds. ready?
I am.
Okay. Start then. Why don't you start?
I would distinguish the most appropriate conditions for studying into the two main categories. The external, which are related to the environment where we are meant to study, and the internal that have to do with the conditions that the person who actually studies is in. As far as the first is concerned, I would say that quietness is very important, is of primary importance to me.
As an external condition.
Sorry,
as an external.
Yes, exactly, as an external condition. Of course, things like the air, air ventilation, lighting, they have to be obviously in an acceptable standard, but I take this for granted. So I would really isolate quietness. And when it comes to me, I have to say that if I am not in the right frame of mind, which is basically peace of mind and some kind of relaxation, I cannot perform, which means I cannot focus, I cannot concentrate on the object of my study.
Mm-hmm.
I would summarize so the conditions in quietness and to relative peace of mind.
Right. How easily are you distracted when you study, and what do you do to counter this?
I am relatively easily distracted, especially by noise and by other people. My little methodology is to find the moment that I am distracted is also the moment that I am trying to take my brain into a deeper level. So I am really making the effort to go the opposite way than my distraction. Right. And it seems to be working for me.
Why do many people find it difficult to study?
Because they have obviously a difficulty in actually concentrating. Because concentration does necessitate a mixture of conditions, as we said, external, internal, and probably more internal. Also, as we get older, we tend to lose our ability to concentrate.
That's true.
So I think it is a genetic thing as well as an intentional thing.
It is. And what if I told you that there are people who, by temperaments, cannot study? What would you say about that?
Yes, I think...
Not personalities, mostly, I mean.
I totally understand this, and obviously there are young kids at school who are in need, actually, to study and to absorb information. They cannot do it. My answer would be that there are therapists, actually, for this category. But it is a very serious condition that needs to be treated in some ways.
All right. And what if we take it out of clinical terms and talk about personalities, about yourself as an adult? How would you describe yourself as a person who...
I would say that I am hyperactive enough not to be able to concentrate, but I think that learning yourself, in the process of learning yourself, you also find out new ways to counteract your deficiencies, if you can call this a deficiency.
Right. Okay. Can you describe of modern aids which have made studying easier in recent years?
Obviously, there are contemporary means that are used in that direction, like audio formats, video, electronic means in the internet. I think that if the intention is there and if the will of the person who wants to study is there, obviously these means, I only see them as very legitimate additional methods.
Right, right. Thank you. That is the end of the test. Dimitra Papidaki, end of test.